So at this time, it is August 5th, 9 a.m., Tuesday. So we'll call the meeting to order. All right, we'll stand for a moment of silence, meditation, private prayers, however you see fit to use your time. At this time, we'll ask Commissioner Rainey to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. All right, this time, can we have a roll call?
Commissioner Vestibia Shepherd. Commissioner Isaac Owens.
Commissioner Isaac Owens.
Commissioner Isaac Owens.
Here.
Vice Chairman J. Reggie Rainey.
Here.
Chairman Joshua Darisaw.
Loud and present. Thank you very much. Before we start the meeting, just a few announcements. Number one, if you have a cell phone, and most people do, please go ahead and turn on silent or vibrate. If you need to take a call, please step outside the door, on the doors, away from the doors, because sound travels in here, so we do not want to hear your conversation. Okay. This is a regular meeting. We will not have commentary from the public. We have a few speakers, of course. There's ways you can get on the agenda if you want to discuss things, and you can call and find those out. But if we're discussing or deliberating on the topic that somebody have experience or considered knowledge in that area, we may ask them to help us make decisions on that topic. That's the only exception, to keep everything in order here and impartial and fair. So those are two announcements. Please make sure that you act according to them. All right. With that said, do we have approval for our motion or alteration of today's agenda?
Yes, Chairman. I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda to move agenda items ahead of speakers and put department heads' reports off to the next meeting.
Okay. We have a motion in a second. Any discussion? For what reason would we be doing this?
Multiple funeral services this morning.
Okay. So you have to leave.
I do, and then there's another one, Ms. Vesta, and I think Commissioner Owens need to attend.
So I'll remind you all, when you pass that ordinance about commissioners missing and they pay get deducted or what have you, there always a call for people to need to miss meetings or do things. And so it's not fair to penalize one person for not having having things to do, and then the other one not so. And I think this is the third or fourth time even this year that some commissioner have to leave early. But you pass the ordinance in spite of me because of my travel. So I'd like to see that ordinance even amended to leave early, because because it is city business, and you know you ran for office, that this was our time. The citizen had asked for us to move the meeting back to 5:30. So if you have stuff to do in the morning, then you may want to move the meeting back to the time that you can fulfill your duties. That's my piece, and that's my discussion on the topic. What have you, because again, this is like the third or fourth time we had to stop our department heads, or our department heads can give their report. I think they're all here right now. And we wasting their time as well, being here at this meeting and being skipping out on their reports. But anyway, we should proceed. Any further discussion? Thought not. All right, we'll proceed to vote. Commissioner Rain,
Yes.
Commissioner Shepherd,
Yes.
Commissioner Owens. Yes. All right, motion carries. Our agenda should be amended that we deal with our agenda items first. We skip the department head's report on this first Tuesday. And then I'm assuming we'll have our speakers after we go through our agenda items. I believe we have 3 speakers.
Mr. Orlando sent an email this morning saying he wanted to rescind his request to speak.
Okay, so with that, thank you, ma'am. We have 2 speakers. Okay. Mr. Ricassi. All right. Motion carries. It is approved. All right, with that, we'll go to our agenda items. Agenda item number 1, consider and approve an event permit for the car show.
So move.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that we consider and approve this event for the car show. The chief reviewed the item on July 29th. All right. Any discussion? Seeing none, shall proceed to vote. Commissioner Shepherd,
Yes.
Commissioner Owens,
Yes.
Commissioner Rain.
Yes.
All right, it is approved. Motion carries. Agenda item number 2, consider and approve the request for items listed for IT to be declared surplus. Do we have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that we consider these items as surplus. Any discussion? Seeing none, shall proceed to vote. Commissioner Rain,
Yes.
Commissioner Owens,
Yes.
Commissioner Shepherd.
Yes.
All right. It is approved. All right, agenda item number 3, consider and approve the ESG Emergency Service Agreement.
So move.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that we're approved. Agenda item number 3, any discussion?
Yes, Chairman. Agenda item number 3 relates to the water distribution department in Public Works. As you all know, the water superintendent retired July 31st. And so we had an emergency situation where we needed staff to come in and provide guidance to the employees as well as assist in that division of Public Works. And so this emergency services agreement is related to Public Works. And they are here if you all have questions.
Okay. Any questions? So they will be specifically providing supervision to the water division.
And yes, technical assistance, they will be on site, helping to oversee that division of Public Works.
And what's the reason we decided to do this specifically?
Again, because the water superintendent retired on July 31st, and so that left that department without any direct supervision in terms of a superintendent.
But we have departments all the time that the superintendent leave, correct?
I'm trying to think of a situation where we had a superintendent leave. I can't think of one. But if we do normally, there's someone else that can fill in that role, and we do expertise in the water division.
Just gonna get into personnel a little bit, so the way that gentleman, your name, please.
Michael Mitchell.
Mr. Mitchell. Mr. Mitchell, could you tell us a little bit about y'all experience? Well, most of to the community, the experience and what y'all been doing, how long, and if you worked in here around here.
And Mr. Tony Johnson is the vice president.
Tony here.
Johnson.
Would you like, you want him to come over here too?
Oh yes, that would be nice. All right. And, yes, sir. Anybody? And the reason I'm saying this is because, see, when our people have issues, they need to know the faces of what we're doing. It's not enough to, have somebody do something.
Yeah.
That's an important, when
I
something
respect
break,
that.
our people need to know what we're doing. Because we just mentioned it in the form of an agreement. There's no face to it. So, yes, sir.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Tony Johnson. I'm the vice president with ESG Infomark. I've been in the industry over 25 years, and we provide assistance to city and county governments throughout Georgia, throughout the nation, but we have a large presence here in Middle and South Georgia. And what we do is we provide operations and maintenance support for public works. So that could include your water and sewer division, your roads, your streets, your holding ponds, fleet maintenance, natural gas services, things of that nature. And we're doing similar type services right now in kind of near you in Albany, and Tifton, Moultrie, Hawkinsville, Douglas, Warner Robins, Perry, Georgia, Quitman. I mean, we probably have, maybe a little off on my numbers, but we have quite a few projects, maybe close to 10 in the Middle and South Georgia region. So what that means is we've got a lot of resources, water, as it relates to what we're talking about today, supporting y'all and providing temporary support. So this is a month-to-month agreement we're talking about. This is not like a multi-year agreement. We met with Ms. Redding several weeks ago, and she shared with us that Mr. Jackson would be retiring, and then there was not the assistant superintendent position was unfilled. So just that the leadership board that was coming quickly was going to not be there, and so we shared with her some of the backgrounds on our individuals that are currently doing in leadership roles, namely at Tifton. Michael's has 16 years of experience, and he's based in Tifton, so he's down the road from me. Danny Lindell, he's another one of our vice presidents who focuses on project delivery, ensuring we've got the right resources engaged. He has over 25 years of support. So I think Mrs. Redding felt comfortable that we would have the necessary resources in close proximity to provide this temporary support, given Mr. Jackson retired and there was no assistant superintendent in place. And so that was the driver for this emergency services agreement, and it's designed to be temporary. Because Mrs. Redding shared with us that she was advertising to fill, the open slots, but in the meantime, just being able to have some experience, guidance, and direction in that department would be beneficial. And then when you look at some of the communities we've been in around here in Tifton, we've been in Tifton since 2012. We've been in Warner Robins, Perry, Douglas, longer than that. So just that combined intellectual capital that we bring to the table, lessons learned, you being able to come in here and see things that we've seen in other cities, the equipment, in-house equipment, we've got a lot of company-owned equipment that we can kind of share with y'all, and that's part of the monthly fee. The resources that we bring in on an as-needed basis, that's part of the monthly fee. So we really worked hard to work within Mrs. Redding's budget for the unfilled position. And so that's how we came about that number. And then when you add in Michael, Danny, and then Jeff West is another kind of management support resource, and then couple that with some of the other resources that we'll bring in on an as-needed basis, we just felt that we could offer the city of Cordele a good value proposition to help kind of deal with this temporary adjustment y'all are going through with open slots and water and sewer.
Thank you so much for providing that background. Any questions?
So for the community, contact will still come through us
reach out to delegate that authority?
They will have a person on
Okay.
site.
Like, I'm the person on site currently, they'll be reaching out to me, and I meet with citizens, customers, help resolve issues, and get the guys where they need to be, make any repairs, or handle any issues that come up.
Any other questions? Thank y'all so much, gentlemen.
Thank you for allowing us to share with y'all this morning. Yeah.
There's no other discussion. We shall proceed to vote. Commissioner Shepherd,
Yes.
Commissioner Rainey,
Yes.
Commissioner Owens. Yes. All right, agreement is approved. Motion carries. Agenda item number 4, discussion of retirement benefits. Background.
Yes, this item placed on the agenda, of course, as you all know, GMA presented, information in May regarding the retirement benefits for the city of Cordele and provided the plan features that, where you can see comparisons across the state. And so, Commissioner Shepherd had asked that we bring this forward for discussion. As you all know, the, Cordele City Commission retirement benefit is $13.
And that's on the lower spectrum of most cities receiving now. The heights is like a little over 100, the median is like from 45 to 60, and I would recommend that the city of Fort Hill go to 50.
All right. So let's see the fire. I did get a motion in second on this, right?
No.
Okay, all right. Before we get into that, I have some background.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, I have some city manager background. Then we'll go into that. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. Now I heard the background on it. All right. Do we have a motion in second? Discuss agenda. Thank you, Ms. Martin. Agenda item number 4.
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second that we discuss agenda item number 4. Okay. Commissioner Shepherd, discussion.
Okay, the discussion was that most cities now in the state of Georgia run for anywhere from like 13, 12, 10 to over 100 per month, on the retirement. And Cordele receiving $13. And so in order to come halfway, the average was between 45 and 65, so I accept the city of Cordele go to 50.
Any other discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I would just like to point out on the list that you all have, just to give an example, City of Americas is at $35. On page 2, Centerville, which is in close proximity, is $40. And I also looked at cities that are in the district, and most range from $35 up to about $45, $50.
Any further discussion? So go ahead. You go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Explain, when we talk about retirement benefits, we're talking about us in our role as commissioners. Okay. And I guess the eligibility requirements for these benefits.
Once you retire, at age, your retirement age, you will receive your benefits.
So you're saying these entitlements come?
Upon retirement, that's it, retirement benefits. Although I won't have retired yet.
Any other discussion? I'm not in favor of it because, first of all, we just raised our salaries. Well, whoever be coming in, we get a bump in salaries. I think our legislative budget is already too heavy. I looked at our budget as opposed to community development budget. And I understand there's reasons why communities are low with personnel. We're gonna have to make some hard choices in this budget. As I look at things and where we are, but we're gonna have to move some money to cover some stuff. And I just don't think that we should be raising anything right now. As far as Pembroke, I know it's not directly money in our pockets, but there's a lot of need in City Hall and a lot of needs in the city in general. And I think, and the thing about it as well, when I first got here, I thought, we don't make a lot of money as doing this job. But as I got to know places around, we make a whole lot of money. Some places only get utility paid. Some get $100 or $85 a month. We get $800 and $1,100 a month, and next year to go to 16. So I'm not in favor of getting us anything extra, anything more, until we figure out and start putting. We may, I want to say some stuff because there's a misnomer, a misinformation out there talking about we in the red and we old folks. We don't old folks. And the reason that we made a change was so we can pay our employees more money because they're the one that do the hard work. So we made sure that we were competitive with the areas around. And that's a decision that I'm proud of. It came with some sacrifices. But I think we get enough on this board. And we don't need to mess with that right now until we see the city do a little bit better. We took care, like I said, City Hall. In the last round or two of the budgets. But I don't care if it's $30, $40. I don't want to see us get any more money. I think we're doing fine. Most of us, I do okay. Mr. Shepherd, you'll be getting a few checks with your retirement from your work. Commissioner Owens, you still got some time left in your retirement elsewhere. Commissioner Rainey, you don't need no extra money. I don't know who else will be coming in in Ward 2, next year. But at the end of the day, now I think we good on raising any money. We don't raise our per diem before. Yes, ma'am.
Now, this is not gonna take place, like, I'm not planning on retiring today or tomorrow. Yeah. And these gentlemen, like you said, you are younger people. And in the future, I think you're entitled to the years you serve, more than $13 for the year. I mean, he's like 50 years old now. He got like, 15 more years of work? I'm just saying, I don't know how old you are. But what I'm saying is,
60. They turned 60.
So what I'm saying is, in the future, it's not gonna happen tomorrow. I'm not planning on going away today, okay? So what I'm saying, I saw where one of our commissioner worked for 44 years and got $13, $12 a year. It was worth it to his retirement age group. So understand what I'm saying is the future, not just for me now. I'm talking about the people coming behind me, and those who going before me will not get it in the repercussion from this vote. It's not going back to the old commission; it's going forward.
Any other discussion?
I'll just say when I review all the cities and look at all the cities of comparable size, 35 seems to be the number of municipalities our size. So I'd be more in favor of a $35 as opposed to 50. I think 50 might be a little much.
Do y'all understand what those cities get paid on their commission? It's little to nothing. By all means, you can take your own money that you get every month and put in an IRA or put in your own retirement plan. That's what we're not understanding, not comparing. A lot of those cities getting way less than we get a month. Our budget, when you look at our legislative budget, it is heavy. It is heavy. I think between all of us, I'm just not in favor of taking in more money from the citizens, especially with the issues we have in our community. I don't care if it's a penny. And again, we get y'all will get double starting next year. Y'all get about $800 a month. Next year, y'all gonna start getting about $1,600 a month. Well, taxes may break down to 15 or 14. Y'all getting double. And then you wanna ask, you know, and I understand it's retirement and you sit in the county and then it, you know, multiply, but still, this still coming out the city money. And then as people move on, when you talk about future, good God, we don't know what funding we gonna get with this federal administration. The state door freezes, and when you talk about future, that means when you move on, you get a retirement from the city. That still come out the city budget every year. Even though you gone, it still comes out the city. The city still has to pay it. So when you talk about the future, yeah, but you know, maybe I'm young and naive, but I think I'll be okay. But we get paid too much money. Now, if y'all want to reduce our money back to what we make, and I'll be in favor of doing it. If you want to cut back to our current levels, now I was in favor of the 1,600 because I want younger people to be able to come here and spend their time and make money as well when they're making a sacrifice for it. But if we're going to raise money or what have you, it's something I'm willing to revisit later, but not right now, given our budget. Have you looked over our budget? And you see where we are with our budget right now.
That's what I was actually thinking, that, you know, we hear where we are, where we fall in line with other municipalities in our area. But I think that's not a decision that we actually need to go ahead and make right now. It's something we can, you know, we hear and we can hear the pros and the cons of it. But until after we get past where we are, maybe that might be something we come back and look at later on. Because again, at 60, it's something to think about, but it's also perception. We have to look at the perception of what the people who put us here, what they're thinking, you know, because somewhere in the perceived mind, all we do is make money, you know. So we have to be mindful of that as well, because there are other issues that have come up, and there are other things that we've been talking about just in our last meeting that we want to try to bring to the table. And the funding for that is going to have to come from somewhere. And while $25, $30 increase might not seem much, we look at where we are right now, and that can make a tremendous difference in how we would have to depend upon something. So I think it's a conversation that we're having. It's a good conversation, but it might be something we just might need to come back and look at a little bit further down the road.
And how long have we been at 13 since the beginning of inception?
I have no idea.
It's never
It was
been-
13 when I
adjusted.
arrived, David,
It's
you
never
know,
been adjusted.
since the beginning. David said since the program started with GMA. Excuse me. Okay, 1970.
So over 50 years, and they haven't had an adjustment. Okay.
That pay has. All right. Any other discussion? All right. Well, we'll move forward. All right. Mhm. Okay. Thank you. All right. more discussion? No. Okay, all right. So let's go back, I'm sorry, and approve the regular minutes for July 15th. We have a motion in a second.
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second that we approve the regular minutes from July 15th meeting. All in favor, let it be known by voice vote aye.
Aye.
All right, and I guess we're gonna, go ahead and, do the, Mr. Flowers 40 years of service. I'm sorry.
It wasn't tabled.
It wasn't tabled.
It was just the agenda was amended to move 1 through 4 before speaker appearances, but we did not approve the minutes, and then I have the retiree presentation.
Okay. I think she was
Like,
talking about, Mr. Shepherd was talking about that.
She was talking about agenda item number 4, but it's important is it was a
oh,
discussion.
okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was just this, well, that would happen with a discussion and say consider approve. Yep, I mean, commissioners can make motions at any time. If you wanna make a motion to table, you know, make a motion to table. That's your discretion. Okay.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that we motion to table agenda item number 4.
Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry. Before the vote is taken, is it tabled onto the next meeting or tabled onto a future meeting? Because
Commissioner can make a motion at any time. You cannot table at the end of the meeting. So, I mean, you know, well, I got a motion in a second right now, just table, so we got to roll with the motion in a second that's in place right now. All right, we'll go to a vote. Commissioner Rainer, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Owens?
No.
Commissioner Shepherd?
Yes.
No. Yeah. It failed for lack of votes, only 2 votes.
two.
You can always put it back on the agenda, I'll make a motion, discussion, yes, ma'am. All right. So, okay, all right, now we'll go into, okay, we can go on to, our retiree, presentation. This flower is 40 years of service. All right, we have, which one are our residential readers? All right. There you go. Thank you, man.
Ronald Fowler, thank you for your 40 years of dedicated service to the city of Cordele, 2025. And the words on this plaque are very few, but they don't demonstrate the efforts and the work that you put in for the city of Cordele. There's no plaque or anything that can hold all the contributions you've made to the city of Cordele and where we are and what you've done in this department. We're grateful for you. We're thankful for your 40 years, and we're glad that you're young enough that you can retire and enjoy. And we thank you for your dedicated service to the city of Cordele. On behalf of our chairman and the vice chair and the city commission, and all of the citizens of Cordele, we thank you very much for your work and your efforts. He told me that I think I'm old. I'm 60, but he's 70, so that's a good thing that you're still pushing forward.
You're not behind me.
Go on, photo. Oh, okay. Mr. Farmer, wait, photo. There you go. All right.
Sure.
There you go.
Congratulations. Thank you for your service.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. What I will say, we do this,
But this piece right here don't do justice to a lot of our employees getting up every morning, answering the call. And enough we can say to honor you, Mr. Flowers, but I really do appreciate getting up every morning, dedicating um, in sacrificing your time, your family time for this city. So I really appreciate that. For 40 years, that's a long, long time. That's longer than I've been alive. So I can't imagine doing anything for 40 years, but I appreciate you for making that sacrifice. And thank you so much. I know words don't do justice, but I do really, really appreciate on behalf of the city for your service. Yes, sir. Thank you. All right. Next, we're going to go on the speaker. I'm assuming.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Dean, when you get up here, we announce your name and your purpose.
My name is Doug Dean. I am a practicing attorney here in town. I'm coming to talk to y'all about something else. May I hand out some material?
Yes.
I got a little bit of coffee on one, so I'm gonna give that to Tommy. Let lawyers understand. Can't do work without coffee. Right.
Thank you. There you go.
Yeah. All right. So this is, I've been in the community for about 10 years. My family is originally from Florida. I went to law school at Florida State, and then I went and I clerked in federal court in Albany for a judge named Lewis Sands. And then in 2015, I moved here and I started practicing with two attorneys. And just a couple years ago, they went and now have their own firm. And so I focus on certain types of litigation, mostly suing people. We generally do not sue governments. We don't sue local governments. We don't sue local businesses, other than situations with insurance. Because of us wanting to do more for this particular community, which of course is where we practice and where our families are. My sister and her two kids moved here. My mom and dad moved here. My dad recently passed, and so now is buried here. But one of the things that drew my attention several years ago was the literacy rate. And, the literacy rate in Cordele is really just not good. We have a lot of kids being retained grade to grade. We have a poor third grade literacy rate, which is one of the metrics that are used for all sorts of things. It can be used to determine the occupancy in for-profit prisons, how many, children that are, 8 or 9 years old are going to be in prison in 20 years, and a bunch of different things about alcoholism rates, health, all different sorts of things. So we were having this discussion. We created a program called First Readers, which is now here in Cordele. Tim Powers, who was at the bank and now at the hospital, was instrumental in doing that, with some other people here in town. And so now every child born in Cordele will can have a book mailed to their house every month between the ages of 0 and 5, and it's spelled FERST Readers. And so, it came to my attention that the old First Baptist Church in downtown Cordele was no longer being used after it closed as a daycare center in May of 2023, and it had not been used as a church for about 10 years. And that's a picture of the sanctuary on the front page, which was, they started building it in 1899, and it was functioning in 1914. And so, the building, when we got involved, it did not, its certificate of occupancy had lapsed. There were certain things about the building that was in disrepair. And so we started really about, I'd say November or so of last year, trying to get it so, people could go in and do things. So we got the certificate of occupancy. We have the occupancy license from the city, and we can operate. Really, the main stumbling block that we've had up until now is that all of this stuff is being done with private funds from my law firm, and volunteers that we're able to kind of get. So we've not. You might not have heard very much about the community center. We do have a billboard going up here very, very soon over there at the intersection of 300 and Old Hatley Road. with our website on it, and our website is basic because all of this is being done with volunteer time. So just a few things, and I know I'm kind of preaching to the choir here with some of this stuff, but our statistics in Cordele are just not good when it comes to other comparable communities. So I'll challenge you, if you go up to Perry and you start talking to people about maybe they should move to Cordele, a lot of times you're going to hear, well, I don't want to get shot. And if you look at the crime statistics, I think they might have actually gotten a little bit better, but 5 years ago or so, if you Googled the most violent place in the United States, Cordele literally came up, and that's because of the per capita violence rate. This young lady, I have no idea, exactly what the situation is with that, but I know that our young people are at a huge amount of risk. There was a young man who was, I believe, executed in the street on June 19th, and he was 18 years old. So, when you look at these crime statistics, I think that each person might have this thought, this doesn't really apply to me for whatever reason. I've not been a victim of violent crime, maybe not even property crime. I make more than this median income of $23,000 a year, and it's $41,000 just up in Perry. But it does affect everybody. So the people that are at the lowest, the lowest socioeconomic classes, you're going to have different problems than other people in other socioeconomic classes. It could be, you don't get paid enough money to be able to pay your electric bill, or you can't afford your groceries, or one of the big ones is you don't have transportation. But, it really affects, the more property you own in this city and county, the more it affects you, because per square foot to build a house, you're talking about a 25% difference between us and Perry. So, if you look at a house that you own here in the city as compared to the county, you're going to see a stark difference, and you're going to see a stark difference in a house in the county compared to a house in Atlanta. So if you have assets, or you have a building or a business, this actually affects you in some ways, like monetarily. Maybe not like when it comes to like somebody standing in your living room is going to shoot you in the face, but like it does affect everybody's pocketbook, and it also affects everybody's life expectancy. I mean, I was pretty shocked to learn that on average, somebody that lives in Cordele lives for 3 years less than somebody in Perry. So, these things have very, very real effects. And, we've talked, me and some of the people in my circle have talked about this stuff a lot. We've researched a lot. And my thesis is basically a lot of these problems are handled by just having a more cohesive community. If people feel like they can go out and talk to their neighbors, they can talk to other people in other neighborhoods, and they can resolve their disputes, then it would be, my position that you can change a lot of these things. Now, in the process of doing that, having a building where people can come and do things, we have the ability to have services for people, and it's just stuff like kind of like a library with more stuff to do. So like the building over there, it has 3 main buildings. There's a 2-story education building, and we've set up some stuff in there like toy rooms. Kids can go and play with toys. There's a library with rooms people can go and have study groups or small business meetings. There's a room that has a bunch of DVDs and DVD players. People can come and watch movies. And there's also a commercial kitchen and a good bit of venue space. So I put in here, and I won't take up everybody's time, but we have worked on this, and we are kind of going around talking to the different governments and social groups about ways in which people want to participate in this, and they would want to partner in this. So to the extent the city or anyone else feels like this is a worthwhile thing, I would like to have conversations about ways that we can support it, ways that we can work together to support it. Of course, I heard a lot about, the city's budget issues, and, with the way prices are going, prices are going up and inflation's going up. So the money you spend today, in 5 years, it's going to be worth less. So, we're not in really good economic conditions, but if we do not focus on the citizens that we have here in Cordele in the county and give them a safe place to be, give people who want to take their kids somewhere. So, like, if you live here, say you're a parent or grandparent, and you want to take your children somewhere, there's not a lot to do. I mean, I'll let everybody go and check out the library on their own. I think there have been improvements there, but there's also some pretty substantial issues with the library. And you've got, some playgrounds and things like that, but one on the west side of town was just demolished for being unsafe. And so, there's really just not a ton for people to do. If you talk to people about what are you going to do this weekend, I would think what you're going to hear is they're going to be hanging out around the house, going to someone else's house, maybe going to a park, or the big one is, going to Albany, Tifton, or Macon. So this is an opportunity to have things here. We don't have anything like an executive director or a budget or anything, and so that's why we haven't really had a ton of events. But and we have gotten a bunch of estimates on things that we need to do to the building, although most of it is, we fixed up the HVAC, all but 3 HVAC units. We fixed up all the toilets, so it's like a place that you can go and spend time. It's in pretty good shape. We've already started having events, and so in the packets that we handed out, there are some events coming up. We have one on Friday that we will be doing a free CPR class. You can get the American Heart Association certification for $30, and you don't have to pay anything to attend the class. It's 3 hours from 5:30 to 8:30, and then for the rest of the month through the 23rd, we'll be open Saturdays and Sundays. So I know we haven't had very consistent hours, and I think that probably has a good bit to do with if folks in here haven't heard about it, that's probably kind of the reason. We do have a website, we have some stuff on social media, but it's all just been stuff that we're able to do when we're not functioning as a full-time law firm. So, I would encourage everybody to check out our Facebook page and our website. My cell number and office number are pretty easy to find, so if you want to call and talk to me about anything, you're more than welcome to. And I included just a picture on the last page of why it is that I think that this is worthwhile. And that is my niece, nephew, my son, and that doesn't even include my mom and sister and other people I'm close to here. But, this is not an issue that only affects any one group of people. It's everybody. It's all of these numbers. The issues that we talk about in Cordele affects everybody's lives. So I would just encourage everyone to think about how your participation with the community center could affect the people that you love most. Not people that you don't know, not some statistic you're not familiar with, but the people that you love and you want to see do better, because that is our mission, to find every individual business and government entity here in the city and county that wants to do better in whatever way that they see as worthwhile to do better, and support them in doing that. But I'd be happy to take any questions. I appreciate what the city does, and I would be happy to get feedback from the city or things that we could do. We have offered for the Board of Education, are in the process of doing a curriculum review to see if there's things that we can offer through the community center as like a supplement to the school curriculum that would help with some of these literacy numbers.
Any questions from Mr. Dean?
And the name of this is the community center?
Yep, the formal nonprofit name is the Community of Cordele, Inc., but we just, we call it the Community Center.
Any questions for Mr.
And you're a nonprofit.
Sorry.
We are a nonprofit.
I would just like to comment that Doug's been very active in the community and has a true heart for helping people of this community. He's reached out. I've worked with him on numerous things. He was very active with Keep Chris Beautiful, called me quite a few times. And he has been very active with the Chamber of Commerce. And this is a vision that he is doing his best to help statistics and people and children of Cordele and Chris County. And I wish you the best with this venture.
Thanks, Wilson.
Any other questions for Mr. Dean?
No, I don't have any questions. I've actually gone and I looked at the site that he has there. So I think there's a lot of space there that can be used. I think one of my concerns that we share with him see accessibility, for our community and how we can pull it together to make it work for all concerned. Um, there's a reality that I think that we sometimes don't see in talking to just some of the young people of our community. There have been places in our community that our young people have felt like are inaccessible to them. And when they think in terms of things that are inaccessible to them as at a certain time, now as parents with their children, they don't see those things as being accessible because of, and it's nothing against what's taking place, but this building was something that we didn't think was accessible to us because it looked like it. And now that spills over to another generation of people. And when you talk about work that's being done, and it could be good work being done, but the work, it misses the viability because people don't feel like it's for them. And that's an issue that we don't always like to put on the table. But we have to look at it from that viewpoint because I don't necessarily want to send my children or grandchildren to a place that I didn't necessarily feel I was welcome to. It's hard to hear that, but it's the reality that we deal with. After touring the building, talking to some other people about it and everything, they heard everything I said, but they said, we could never go there. There was a place that was unreachable. It's in our community, but it's unreachable. And and we have to look at that. So we have to the dynamics has to be, what do we do to change that movement? Because that's a real conversation, and I don't want to send my grandchildren someplace I didn't think I was welcome to. And I'm not saying that we were told we couldn't come there, but it's just that it's the mindset of what we thought and how we felt, and that mindset continues to go on. And whether it's Doug Dean or Isaac Owens that's running the building, it's the perception of what the community thinks. And that's a reality that we always don't want to talk about. So we have to look at what we can do to change that dynamic. And, I think this is a good step, coming this way, but it's so much more that we're going to have to push out there to get it done. Because there'll be people that ride past, oh yeah, the big church right there, we can't go there.
And I think that's a very important point. And
should be Commissioner Shepard.
I'm sorry.
Sure, if I may, I have different experience with that church. I attended two huge black funerals, that one was Reverend Nathan Jackson, and the other one was a lady named Miss Roger Jefferson. I've been to several events held there, and I know it's out of place per se, not me. And it also could be happening now for a large church, you know what I'm saying? You see that auditorium?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you see what I'm saying? It might be an outlet for ears closed, and you're going to the schoolhouse. We might have another outlet for funerals or family gatherings. So I think we need to get an open mind and sort of see what we can do to embrace the services that are offered in Cordele. It was a church at one time, now it's going to be a community center for everyone. So I can't see myself saying that. I came through the civil rights age, so I know what's right. I saw people running at the state park. I saw a lot of things too. But I think this center will be a benefit for the whole community. As a matter of fact, I think it's in Ward 1 too. Thank you.
It's in Ward 3.
Ward 3.
It is.
My point of clarity was not that I was saying that it's not going to be beneficial. That was not my point. I'm saying that we have to be open-minded enough to understand that the perception, we don't often want to talk about perception, but people perceive things the way they perceive them. And you can't change a person's perception of something by simply saying it ain't like that no more. I'm not saying that it won't be beneficial. I'm not saying that it won't help the community. I'm not saying that it's not needed. We had a town hall where we talked about some of the very things that are there. But I'm saying the people that you want to benefit from it don't feel like it's a place for them to come and feel safe. So you have to change that thought process. And I don't know what the answer to that is, But I'm saying, but I do know the answer. I do know the answer. We've got to look at it from a viewpoint of thinking that we're putting people in a position where if you don't get this, you can't get anything. Because so much of what we see in our community is that people say, if I'm not giving it to you, then you really can't accept it from this person. So we have to pull in all of those. And I probably should want to spend as much time talking about this, but that was not my point. What I was saying to Commissioner, I'm not saying that the building is not useful. I'm not saying that it can't help the community, but I want us to be clear on the fact that perception is the thing. There are some people that you don't talk to because you perceive they mean until you talk to them. So that's what I'm saying. We have to look at how we can break down that side of it to put us where we need to be at. There are children every day who could be benefiting from things in our community, but who sends their children? Parents. And if parents don't feel that their children are safe going to something, they're not going to send them. In most cases, that's all I'm saying. There's nothing against the efforts, but I'm just simply saying you can have the best thing in the world, but if it's not where I feel acceptable coming, I'll never know what you got there for.
I'm going to say this. And this community knows who I am at this point. And I'm very blunt. It's a perception problem, definitely. But it's a racism problem. I just talked to the housing board director last week about this very issue. Doug, I like you. Never had, any bad experience with you. Racism happens beneath the consciousness. Unfortunately, I have a lived experience, but I've been taught and trained to recognize it in its many forms. I don't have a package. You know why? Because you started with the white gentleman down here that you may be more comfortable with. By the time you got to the black folks, it wasn't enough.
Oh, he's gonna pass it down. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem. I'm just telling you how it happened below the consciousness in a very real way. Part also, I've been reaching out to you on Facebook. I don't know if you saw it. I've been reaching out to you. But I'm going to finish and then you can have your say. As I listened to what you were saying, and that's why I like for people to go first and everybody else to go first. Those statistics and things very meaningful. Something I studied for over 15 years. But there is a difference. You mentioned people in Cordele died 3 years less than people in Perry. But the black statistics are worse. That's general. But when you dive into it, the black statistics are worse. We're talking about 10 years, especially black males. And Cordele demographic slants black. 65 to 70%, depending on who you read. So when we talk about perception accessibility issues, part of what we got to do when we really reach love in this community, it is understanding that we got to not only, we got to come to where the others that don't look like us are. You had money. You chose to put money in that particular building. There's a lot of buildings on the west side, if you're trying to really solve a lot of these problems, that money could have went in. Now, you say you're coming from us for feedback. That's the difference between feedback and input. Feedback is you already made the decision. But see, as community leaders, you need to get our input because we can help change the perception. Commissioner Shepard, who's very tied to the community, she didn't even know much about it. She asked you a question, and that's rare for Commissioner Shepard. Yeah, that's rare for her. So that's the telltale sign that when you made a decision, you and your law firm to put money in somewhere, we are representing other people. And I don't get along with half of them up here. But we're representative of the people. And you and your law firm did not come to the representative of the people before you laid this out. That's a big mistake. Then I saw the video with Jamal Anderson. Jamal Anderson, Dirty Bird got it. the football player, he don't know what's going on down here in Cordele. It would have been more powerful if you had Commissioner Shepard, Commissioner Owens, or myself to do that video, because we do know what's going on down here. And these are things that we would have had a conversation, I can tell you privately, versus in front of the public or what have you. But what I'm sick of is people have really, in a sense, disrespected our leadership by not coming to work with us. A lot of these issues you're talking about, you in the community, you're a part of these clubs, Commissioner Ray said so. I don't talk about all these issues. I have not gotten one call from you, Doug, because we should have worked together. But see, part of the perception too, and part of what racism is and white supremacy is, black people have to always go to the white side and white folks to get something done. And we supposed to add value to that. But what we got going on, you all don't come over and help us. That's what this community is. And so when you come here talking about, you know, the need and thing, and I appreciate what you're doing. But if I reach out to somebody and they haven't reached out to me, I work in mutual relationships. I'm going to be an equal. I'm not Wiggins. I'm not going to push myself back to the table and rubber stamp what everybody come up here and want. Because the people that vote for that, they want that, they would have kept Wiggins in his seat. And so, although this is a hard truth, it's a truth that needs to be had because things have to be reconditioned. To see, everybody knows because people say I still live in Atlanta. I lived in Atlanta a long, long time. I always say Atlanta raised me. But Atlanta had a way. The reason it prospered. White folks understood that they had the economic power. But they also understood that black people had the political power. And they worked together. They came beyond racism. Here, white folks want to keep both. That's why we got fools running around talking about save the city. But where are they when black kids get shot down on the west side? When a baby's missing? When we had the meeting, there was no white people in the room on MLK Day or Juneteenth. But see, we are expected to go to whatever most white folks have. People say all the time, some people, oh, you ought to be a part of Kiwanis Club. You ought to be a part. No, I go to the other stuff because they already got enough funding over there. They already got enough resources over there, and I'm not gonna let my status as chair give more credence to that. I'm gonna go to where things are not as developed. And that's a social worker frame. That's my background. That's my orientation. We look at where things are not put together well, and we try to put it better together, or what have you. So it bothers me. It even bothers me to say this because like I said, I like it. Or what have you. Personally, or what have you. But Cordele has to be reconditioned for us to come together and work together in a way, and people of status stop trying to work around this leadership or coming to this leadership when they need or want something. Because that's the occasions where we interact with you all. I purposely don't show up to certain things in the community. And so, if we're going to do this, if y'all really mean the betterment of Cordele, see, people get elected all the time for years and we have to work with them because we haven't had a choice. We don't work around them, we work with them. See, part of the problem with that, you can't even stand this type of talk. Same thing with the county commissioner did when we had doing the county retreat. But people that don't look like us have to start standing and understanding this talk. Because see, most of the black people that you're around, they can't say this because they work with you. They're afraid to lose their jobs. That's why I go places and make my own money and don't make my money here. Because I'm not going to be economically tied so my mouth can be shut. But see, people like him and one of the county commissioners, we got to have honest conversation. And now that you have this community center, which I believe You want to do great things in this community, but you also have to challenge those things and understand what this community really is. And you have to work with people who those people have chose to be their leadership in the community. And it's not them always coming to you, it's you also coming to them. And Commissioner Owens and I talked. He loves the place. We walked through the place. And my conversation with him was just this. When have Doug came to us? I'm not going to go to you, Doug, because I'm chairman. And after I reached out to you a few times, you know, that was calls for you. I'm not going to run behind you. I don't do that. Because again, I work on equality and neutrality. But if you want to be successful in this community, you got to work together. And I'll tell you, myself and Commissioner Owens ain't going nowhere, even with this election, because the demographics won't be there. And so y'all gonna have to learn to work with us. And that is not feedback, that is input. So that's my piece. Well, let me say this. Commissioner Shepard, you also have to realize you are a person of status. So while you may feel different about that building, that church, you got to understand that your status as a commissioner as a permanent figure at the hospital put you in a different category than most people that look like you. And when Commissioner Owens is telling you when he went and talked to people or what have you, you got to understand that's a different people that he's talking to who have not made it to your status and position. So the perception may be different or what have you. And with that, I'll shut up.
May I say a few words?
Yes, sir.
So, you know, as a white man, I mean, I do have to admit that I do not have your perspective. I do not know what it feels like to, you know, just show up and people are going to make negative assumptions about me. You know, and I don't know what it's like to carry that around for 40 years or whatever. You know, the best that I can do is try to see your perspective. And if I get accused of something like being racist, not just totally shut down and leave. Because I admit that I have work to do, you know, personally and with this project. You know, I had texted you back in 2021, I think it was, and I think that you texted me back. I'm not on Facebook very much, and I don't want to make excuses. You know, I'm not going to tell you that your perception of me not handing you a packet is not my own internal bias. I'm just not going to do that. Because number one, that's just like what Commissioner Owen said, just saying, no, your perspective is not valid. Because it is valid. And if we don't start with where a person's perspective is, we're not going to get anywhere. And I went to the Claire Scott homes. They had the school system put something on, you know, and that's what I was, you know, the school system said 40% of people, of parents don't think school is worthwhile. And I said, I think it would be very easy to say that the parents that make up that statistic are unreasonable and they're doing wrong by their child. But it's related to the trash issue. You know, there's trash everywhere. And to me, what that means is there's people who do not feel invested in this community and they do not feel like their participation in this community is going to do any good. And, you know, I don't know how to handle that. You know, I mean, I'm willing to put a bunch of time and money into something, and I understand that the perception could be, you know, the black people could think that, you know, I'm whatever it is, and you know, the white people could have equally as negative things to think about the project. If I set up a building that's only for white kids or only for black kids, nobody's going to like it and it's going to fail. And I'm trying to set up a building where people can come and do stuff, and I won't bankrupt myself, and it'll have funding, and I don't have to come to the city to ask for money, because frankly, the reason that I didn't come to the city first to start talking about it is because, you know, I heard budget sitting in this room for 5 minutes. So, you know, I can't stand up here and say the children are morally and ethically, like, that's the reason we should do it, because no one cares. For me to say, well, we don't want another black kid executed on the west side, or we don't want another white kid addicted to meth and dying of fentanyl on the east side. You know, the problems look different, but they are the same. These children don't feel valued and they don't feel like they have a home. You know, so how do you fix that? I mean, I think it's cohesive community. I think it's you have people sitting there and there can be a young man walk in with tattoos on his face and people don't, you know. So how do you get that? You know, I mean, the building is it not in a perfect location? I mean, I agree with that. You know, I mean, there's going to be transportation issues, but we went to we had so for Christmas last year, my law firm advertised that if you contacted us and you had a minor child, we get them a Christmas gift. We served 85 kids and we took them gifts. And one of those ladies lives over there at Claire Scott Home, so we had an event on Bass Street. And I probably didn't do the best job advertising it, but I do have a full-time job. You know, I mean, I have a law firm. I live, right there near Commissioner Owens. I think you got one of my packages one time. You know, I have a 4-year-old. And it's not perfect. And I don't totally understand how we're going to fund this. I don't know how I'm going to get payroll or an executive director, but I don't see anybody else standing up to do it. And I totally hear you. And and you're right. I mean, it's not just that I want your feedback; it's that I want your input. But I wrongly just thought that the governments wouldn't want to have anything to do with this, And so I mean, I wrongly thought that. But I come in here and I specifically don't ask for money because I know if I ask for money, I'm not gonna get it because y'all already told me 10 times you don't have it. So it's like,
let me correct that. We have it. We can make some changes in our budget to have it. I'm interested in doing that. So budgets are decisions of values. Just like your personal, when you get personal money, you decide how much you want to splurge, how much you want to take care of bills, how much you want to save. We have money. We're not that dire for money. My focus is on this city, and we need to spend more money on this city, and that is including community programs. So when I say our budget, we made a sacrifice with paying our employees more money. But that doesn't mean we can't shift anything around. That budget, when we get that budget, it's up to this board, in which I've been fighting the last 3 or 4 years, about we got to do it differently. We got to do it different. I believe some departments are too top heavy. We keep about anywhere from 19 to 30 vacancies throughout the year, or what have you. Before, when I got elected, in between before I got sworn in, I rewrote the whole structure of the government to save about $1 million. So we have it, and we can have it. We're always, I won't speak for all of us, because you know how the vote goes. I'm always interested in doing community good. But you ask the question, how do you fix it? You fix it just by what you said right here. Most white men in this community ain't willing to even go and say what you say. I just don't know. I just don't understand. They dismiss it. And that's why I said, Doug, I like you, because I know your heart, or what have you. And most would not agree that I have work to do. I have work to do. I have to challenge myself with sexism, because being a male, I've been pushed beyond women in positions. And I've turned positions down when people want to promote me, when a woman wants to train me. So we all have work to do in different places. And what I committed myself to years ago was doing the work in the sexism, because I was like, I can't keep calling out racism and then I'm over here enjoying another privilege elsewhere. And so we all will have work to do. Education is another privilege, or what have you. And so, but that's why I like you. Because you're willing to stay and have tough conversations. But what I'm saying, we got to have that conversation more often. And you just got to show up and have those conversations. It's going to be uncomfortable. But I will tell you, a lot of times black people is uncomfortable all the time. Especially when they're working around in a professional setting. So that uncomfortableness is just something we got to grow through. But that's why I like you. Because I know your heart. But I have to be honest about even the pieces that were missed and how we do this better. Because the goal is we can help drive people to that community center. Because of it ain't easy getting the majority votes when you get in these seats. And when you get those majority votes, that means you have supporters, you have leaders that reach out to you. If something little something happened, everybody reaching out to you. My phone blew up last night with the coach at the high school. Them people that contact us have kids that you need in yourself, have money. We have that connection. So that's why you got to come and talk with us. Mostly behind the scenes, before we get here to this meeting or what have you. But I appreciate you because that's how you start to fix the problem. You go in, you can be uncomfortable or what have you. It ain't comfortable for me, y'all. I never called you a racist because you ain't showed me that you're a racist. But the ones don't show me that they're a racist, I'll call them that. And if the community feels so, but that's not comfortable to me. I sit uncomfortable all the time, but the truth propels me because we got to go through that. And so I'm uncomfortable a lot. It ain't comfortable being hated in this community, especially when I first left. I was a golden boy. They'll tell you that. Top of my class, football captain. Everybody loved me. My first interview question was, the guy asked, I talked to your classmate, they trying to figure out how did you become so militant? It's by truth. I personally believe truth is what's going to set us free. And if I have to be looked at the villain to do that, I'm okay with it. But that's how we start those conversations. That's how we fix these problems. More people that look like you show up and engage in that conversation and deal with the uncomfortableness for a little while. We always gonna take care of you. We ain't gonna let nobody abuse you. That ain't in our nature. we ain't gonna let people gang up on nobody. So that's the thing. What have you. And I love to see the center be successful, but we got to come together. We got to work together in that way. Even if we ain't interested in putting any money, because again, I don't have the votes to do something drastic with our budget or what have you. But you have other support that we have. I'm getting the building ready right now to do what has not been done on the west side. Out of my own personal money, just like you do. Because this commission won't pass anything. So I hear you and I feel you. But and I'm sorry, anything else?
Oh, do you have my cell number?
I believe I know because I got a new city.
I can give it to you and anyone else can write it down.
Yeah. Commissioner also here.
You have it.
Yes,
Okay. Yeah.
So I appreciate you, Doug.
Yeah,
Really.
thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Well, I'm accustomed to 5 minutes. So that's what we'll do here. We could pass these down, please. My name is Danita Dolman, and my company is Seas Community Partners. And I initially came to Cordele through Maurice, and we were trying to get something going last year, but it didn't really materialize. And so we exhibit at the GMA conference, and I weighed the chairman down like this to get his attention. So he invited me here to talk. So our company is based out of Atlanta. I am Georgia grown from Columbus, Georgia, and we're a management consulting firm. And the things that we do are strategic planning, stakeholder and community engagement, economic and workforce initiatives, and small business technical assistance. But what I'm here today to talk about is grant writing and administration. And so last year, we are happy to report that we secured and managed through research and administration and compliance over $20 million in grant funding. And so how do we do it? We do it a little bit differently. We partner with the municipality or the organization, and we get the priorities, and we go hunt, and we go find. and we bring those back to the particular agency or organization, and we match those priorities and say, do you want to go after this? Do you want to go after that? This is what this one does. This is what that one does. And so on, I apologize, it's not on the screen for everybody to see, but the commission, so what I did was, not knowing anything about the priorities of Cordele, I kind of put things in category areas. So for public safety, emergency preparedness, you know, there are rolling deadlines. There's over $50,000 available for those type of things. Waste and recycling, about a $250,000 grant to use tire parts to like pave playgrounds or something like that. Then there's a lot of money for infrastructure and community development, and upwards of $3 million, and there's several different deadlines for that. And then recreation, whether it's non-motorized sports or motorized sports, or if it's trails or parks or those type of things. And so I just wanted to just kind of share what we do, what we're doing for different cities in Georgia and in Washington, D.C. And that's how we provide the grant writing, administration, research, and compliance and reporting.
Any questions? So I know one of the things is that, and I may talk about before because this might go even higher than here, that we work with River Valley Commission, and I know you all understand and know what they do. Could you tell us how you all, well, just speak to that. No framing, no questions, but just speak to that, please.
For what we found with the cities that we worked with, in some instances, maybe some of those deadlines may fall. Maybe the research is not as deep as our research on the opportunities that we find. We have a whole process that we go look for. If it's not just federal government, it's not just Georgia government, it's foundations, it's individuals, it's corporations. So we have a deep look as we look for opportunities.
So y'all can go beyond and further.
Yes, yes.
Expand the portfolio, so to speak.
Yes. I mean, if it's, we were just meeting with a city client, and they were looking for opportunities for their cemetery. So we were able to find some. So it just depends on what the priorities are. And that's what we do. And so our approach is a little bit different. So we talk to the leaders and the leadership team, and sometimes the commission or the mayor, and we find out what the priorities are. And we match those to the comprehensive plans and any individual plans that you may have. And then we actually, it's a 2-day effort. We find out what you want to do, how you want to do it, where you are. So it's a little bit more deeper and hands-on.
And you said that you all, like with success dates, you all are stay current with those as well, because one of the things you said, something is passed, and that's been one of the things we've heard, in past, that we missed the deadline because of. So that's a priority for you all as well as us to maintain that.
Absolutely, because we will worry you to death. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
To make sure. Maurice will know. So we'll worry you to death to make sure that, don't miss this deadline. And our clients appreciate that, actually. Whether it's responding to an opportunity or, being compliant with reporting and so forth. And we're not just, as some organization may just be for this particular sector or that particular sector. We're for the people. We're for the citizens, and what's for the priorities that the leadership team has addressed or communicated for the citizens. That's what makes us a little bit different.
Chairman,
Yes,
I have a few questions. In terms of your experience, what is your experience in terms of grants from GEMA, FEMA, ARPA, GFA, and then just community development block grants?
So we're working on some DCA grants currently. FEMA, we've seen the criteria and so forth, and so those are federal grants, and so those take a lot of time and effort to prepare those grants. The GFA, that's kind of the loan. We haven't done any of those, but for us, a grant is a grant. It doesn't really matter. We know it. It takes time and effort to prepare.
And so, in terms of administration or administering those type of grants, what's the experience in, say for GFA grant or ARPA grant, or right now we have a grant from GEMA for generators, the experience in administering those type of grants?
Well, for a grant that we did not write, we have to look at the criteria in terms of what the reporting requirements are and match that against what you proposed in your grant. And so that's how we make sure that we're compliant.
But in terms of if you have been successful in obtaining one of those grants, do you all also administer those type of grants?
Yes. We can write and administer, and if we just administer, we can do that as well. We prefer to do soup to nuts.
But you have had experience in administrating or administering a ARPA grant or GFA grant?
Not ARPA or GFA particularly, but federal grants, yes.
And the grants with DCA, what type of grants are you currently working on?
We're working on the One Georgia Equity Grant. All those kind of in that realm.
CDBG?
Yes.
What I'm thinking is, you all, and I know like infrastructure and different things on one side, but I think part of what you all focus on is also kind of like the other side of community grants.
Oh, yes.
Building up community grants, which is why, when we connect, when we talk, that's what we need. I have been saying for years, we get all this money we put in infrastructure. I know, we need roads, we need pipes, we need all that. That's great. But we also need community infrastructure as well. And so I'm interested in, beefing up that side of things. And I had, my package to Ms. Darby there because she's our community development director and everything. And so, and we want to add more money. When we talk about the budget, I always say one reason I ran for this because reports kept talking about Cordele, the poorest town in Georgia. I said, okay, that sounds like a lot of grant money to me, or what have you. And so we don't have to get it through the regular means of government, we can get it through grant writing, which is another reason why I'm also interested in nonprofits. Scaling up. We have pet projects where what I did with my discretionary funds is nonprofit development training. Because if Cordele can get money in, it doesn't matter if it comes from the city or the nonprofits, we're getting money in to do these services or what have you. So there is a need to, especially with those statistics that you heard earlier or what have you, there's a lot of opportunity to write a lot of grants for a lot of money. That we can impact and improve this community, what have you. So that's what I'm interested in. We have experience running all the other grants, or what have you. But we need something that focuses on the community grants that we can be competitive in, and given the statistics, because we would be competitive given our statistics. We have a lot of opportunity. We have the rural factor. We have the aging population factor. We have a lot of things that we can write on. We have the crime factor, the undevelopment. We have a lot of factors that when you look at grants, as far as community building, that you can write on. what have you. We just haven't really done it. And I don't have faith in River Valley Commission. I really don't, because of our experience with them and everything. So I asked that question because usually that's what, is said when I brought it up is that, we have a River Valley Commission. Well, when somebody come up to us and tell them we got to take a community development opportunity off the table, I have a problem. What have you with that, because that's one of the things we need. We can have nice roads and nice pipes, but if people leave in here, who's gonna keep it up? When that tax base leaves, businesses shut down. Who's gonna keep it up? The revenue coming in. So you put all this money in the ground and not in the people. You need the people to keep it maintained. But that's what I'm interested in on that community side, which is again, pause. Ms. Darby, do you have any questions?
I just wanted to know, in terms of compensation, how are you compensated for the grants that you write?
Well, we have different structures depending on the city budget. And so some cities hire us to do all of their grant writing and administration. We just do grant writing. Some we've done per grant. So it just depends on what your strategy is. Thank you.
All right. I think that takes us to the city manager report. We zigzag this agenda today, so I'm making sure I'm still alive. Here, down, up, down, side to side.
Good morning. City Manager's Report for August 5th, 2025. Just a recap of some of the activities and events that have occurred since the last City Commission meeting on July 15th. And of course, this is the community cafe that was held at Clara Scott Homes. As you can see, Doug is in the picture there, as well as our new superintendent, Dr. Brandon Williams. And it was a good turnout, good event. Heard nothing but good comments. T-Track at the Tracks model train display was held on July 26, 2025. As you can see, they had the model trains on display, and the community, those who attended, enjoyed the event. The Back to School Dash was held on this past Saturday, and as you can see, good turnout from the community, good engagement with kids, and of course, the parents always appreciate the supplies. Upcoming events. The ministers' meeting will be held on Thursday, August 14th from 9:30 to 10:30 a.m. at the Cordele Community Clubhouse. All are invited to attend. And, of course, this is our faith-based organization meeting. Additional upcoming events. The Tourism Committee will be held on Thursday, August 7th at 10 a.m. at the Chamber. The Community Clubhouse Coordination Board meeting, looking at Commissioner Owens, is Monday, August 11th, here in the courtroom at 10 a.m. The Land Bank meeting will be held on Tuesday, August 12th, 1 p.m. in the boardroom at Chris Power. Main Street meeting will be held on Wednesday, August 13th at 8:30 a.m. at the Main Street office. And then the Southwest Georgia Railroad Excursion Authority Sam's Shortline meeting will be held on Wednesday, August 13th in Plains, Georgia at 4:30 p.m. Just a few city updates. We received a refund from Tennessee Energy for natural gas purchases. We participate in the Home Depot rebate program through Georgia Municipal Association. We received a rebate check from Home Depot. And then this week, the city dumpster location hours are Thursday and Friday from 12 noon to 4 p.m. Again, we are still advertising for that position. As you can see, we have started renovations to the drive-through window. I know the community has been asking for that. The countertop has been removed. The counter space is being measured. And today I will meet with cordial glass, so we can look at costs to replace the window, not only at the drive-through but the windows out front. We have 3 that have the film on it when the water fountain was in use, so we're looking at replacing those as well. I have received numerous applications for assistant city manager, so now I have the task of going through those, so I can start setting up interviews for that position. Also, in city updates, I would just like from time to time to showcase work that has been done by the employees. As you can see here this morning, that picture was taken, thank you, Mr. Smart, of employees clearing the 5th Street overpass. And so we do have our employees out working in the community. We're thankful for them and the job that they do. And the second picture is near Williams Field. Couple of action items. One, you have information from the Georgia Department of Transportation regarding the bridge replacement on Frontage Road over Cedar Creek. That bridge is desperately in need of repair. It has been identified as a deficient, weight restricted bridge, and so it did not meet the eligibility requirements for the low impact bridge program. And so the proposal before you today from the Georgia Department of Transportation is that they will provide all the funding for preliminary engineering, construction, and even let the project. What they are asking for is a local match from the city for right-of-way acquisition if needed. And this is a tier 2 project, and the financial commitment will be $75,000, and that funding would be available in our T-SPLOS program because we do receive T-SPLOS funds. And so any funds that are left from right-of-way, if there are funds left, GDOT will refund the money to the city. But what they are asking for is support from the city, as well as a commitment for the match of $75,000. And you also have the sample agreement in your packet, and so the funds would not be due until the memorandum of agreement has been signed. The second item on your presentation is dates for budget meeting. The dates sent were Thursday, August 7th, Monday, August 11th, Tuesday, August 12th, and Thursday, August 14th. And so if you all could just let me know dates that you are available. The chairman has already responded. He is available Thursday, August 7th. And so, again, the additional dates are August 11th, August 12th, and August 14th. And before I come back to the action items, there was one thing I did not include in this report that will occur before the next meeting is qualifying for the at-large seat, Ward 2 and Ward 3. The qualifying period is August 18th through the 22nd from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. The qualifying fee is $270, and that's for all 3 positions because, as we know, the at-large seat, the way that is structured has changed. So again, at-large Ward 2 and Ward 3, qualifying fee is $270, and the qualifying period is August 18th through the 22nd from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. And then I just want to make a few other comments regarding what was said during the community of Cordele presentation. Crime is everywhere, and you have to put everything in perspective. And sometimes it's the way you Google things. If I Google most dangerous city, College Park is going to come up first on that list. If you Google dangerous cities in Georgia, you're going to have College Park, East Point, Brunswick, Cordele, America's Macon, Albany, Griffin, East Point. So it just depends. But it's important also to understand that gangs, youth crime occurs everywhere. It's how we come together as a community to address those issues. And and even if I just Googled the crime rate because Perry was mentioned, Perry, Georgia. It said Perry, Georgia has a slightly higher overall crime rate compared to the national average. So we're all in this together. And sometimes people focus on other communities or where they're from if they have moved somewhere else, when also you need to focus on your own community. So I just wanted to have my say on that. And of course, department heads did not have the opportunity to present today. But if you look in your packet, the police chief has included the crime stats for the city of Cordele for the past 6 years. And as you can see on this report, January 1st through July 28th of 2025, crime stats are down. So we have to be realistic, know what's going on in the community, but we have to balance everything and, of course, work together to address whatever issues are ongoing in the community. And, for me, I just want to bring that, say that and bring it to the forefront because, I don't want to be, Cordia, a crime haven, people getting shot, because it's happening all over in every community, almost every community. Some have lower stats than others, but overall it is a problem nationwide. So I'm sorry, I just had to have my say on that. You have in your packet the meetings that I attended, meetings and events that I attended in July. And then, of course, now I'm back to the action items.
All right. So you have two action items: the bridge replacement, which is asking for a $75,000 match.
Yes, for right away.
And remind me again, we was trying to look at the dates.
For the budget meetings?
Yeah, we were trying to figure out. He came at the 7th, so he was asking me.
Thursday, August 7th, Monday, August 11th, Tuesday, August 12th, and Thursday, August 14th.
Okay, I'm gonna go with 11th and 14th, over the 7th. So that Monday, August 11th, I'm gonna go, and then that Thursday, August the 14th. That's fine. You need one day or 2 days?
Just one day, because
Okay,
we should be able to complete everything in one day.
We'll do the 14th.
The 14th.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so Thursday, August 14th, 5:30 p.m.
Yes, ma'am.
5:30 p.m. Thursday, August 14th.
And then the bridge support, that will be coming out of T-Swash.
T-Swash, yes.
All right, we need a motion and a second to approve $75,000 match. Second. It's been properly moved to second that we approve the $75,000 match to do this project. All right, any discussion? Seeing none, shall proceed to vote. Commissioner Shepherd?
Yes.
Commissioner Owens? Yes. Yes. Motion
All right.
carries.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anything else?
That's all that I have. Is there a question?
Thank you for adding that perspective. Yes, it is needed.
Thank you.
City Attorney, you have anything?
Oh, sure.
You don't have nothing for us? Not anything? Sometimes. That's right, that's right. All right, anything from the commission before we close out?
I just want to say that a couple weeks ago, there was a Black Excellence Award ceremony, and one of our own, Dr. Henry Young, was honored during that time, and the city of Cordele was able to send a proclamation recognizing Dr. Young hometown for that is, although he said personally attend, Cordele was represented, by way of the proclamation, and at a future date, hopefully, it'll be when he can come and we can just acknowledge him here in that, at that time. And and I say that, rushing out here, but it was a big thing for him to be recognized in such a way for his contributions, not just to, Cordele, but throughout the state of Georgia to the medical staff. So that was a big thing. I just want to share that. Thank you.
At this time, call for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved second that we're adjourning this meeting August 5th at 10:45 a.m. All in favor, let it be known by voice vote aye.
Aye.